What's up, everybody? Mark with Cardivox Academy here, and if you have followed the channel for any amount of time, you're going to know that I'm perpetually behind the times. I am perpetually late to the game. And part of the reason is like, listen, I don't know how reactors, a song comes out and in 2 seconds they got a video up. Well, I do kind of know, because sometimes record labels and stuff, they'll reach out and they'll be like, hey, you want to do a video for this? And in those cases I can be on top of it, but other than that, I can only film so much. So I'm excited to finally be talking about this song by Harper, Weight of the World, featuring Dave Stevens, which was apparently written by members, I'm not sure which ones, but members of Brand of Sacrifice. So I'm kind of excited to hear what that sounds like. But if you're not familiar with who Harper is, essentially, she is a young vocalist. I think she's 11, 12, I don't remember. She's young, I think 11. And she kind of made her break when she performed Holy Roller by Spiritbox on America's Got Talent or American Idol, one of the two. And everybody was like really impressed and their minds were blown. And I thought it was very, very cool, right? And so when I heard that a song came out, I was like, oh, this is awesome. We're finally going to talk about it. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, again, my name is Mark. I'm a metal vocalist myself. I've been doing this for about 14 years-ish. And I'm also a full-time metal vocal coach. My job, that's probably why everybody's getting these videos out so fast, because they don't have like 70 students. Which, hey, it makes sense, right? Anyway, my main thing that I do, my main focus is teaching people how to make harsh vocal sounds, things like safely and efficiently, so they can, make all the metal music that they want and not hurt themselves. And here we take the reaction format, we break it down, we have a good time. And that's all I really have to say. We've got Harper, we've got Dave Stevens of We Came as Romans, we've got Brand of Sacrifice. Let's hear what it sounds like. Here we go. Okay, I know we're kind of in the middle of the chorus, but I don't know when we'll have a good point to pause. So let's go ahead and talk about it. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Obviously, getting her start, as far as I'm aware, covering Holy Roller, she's got a very Courtney LaPlante false chord roar, right? Just smaller and younger, which I think is kind of fun. Like, it's fun to watch her because, like, I was not this good at anything when I was 11. I was not as good at it, not even slightly. Gosh, at 11, I don't even know what I was doing. Probably just eating pudding and falling out of trees. That's probably it, right? Actually, I do remember what I was doing at 11. I was lighting a lot of stuff on fire. This is true. I had a little bit of a pyro face when I was a kid. Surprisingly, nothing bad ever happened. God, I got some stories. Maybe I'll tell y'all later. But seeing her being this devoted to her craft this early on is very, very impressive. Not only that, but, she's actually being a vocalist. She's being an artist. And what I mean by that is, and this is something you see in adults all the time. I'm sure we can all think of examples of somebody who can make really cool vocal tones, but can't really find their way around a song. Goodness. But here we see her playing with formants. We see her modulating her scream. She's really working on that false chord roar, right? But we hear her, I don't know the lyrics, but at the beginning, she's in that middle scream and then she brightens the tone. She lifts that tone up a little bit and then she falls into those low, darker tones. And so all of it's working from the same thing, but she's moving around with the song, which is pretty impressive. Now, one other thing that is really interesting to talk about is that there's a video that I reference in my own life very frequently and in my lessons, and it's called Metal Vocalists Are Just Big Babies. And one of the things that the video talks about is how as babies and then children, we actually have very malleable voices, and we can create a lot of different tones. And as we get older, that's harder and harder to do, right? For example, anybody out there with children, I have a 1-year-old son myself, knows that not even joking, like they can do some dope metal vocals. My son has a crazy fry scream. It is 100% a fry scream. It is better than anything I'll ever do. The only difference is, he's not doing it for music. He's doing it because he's mad that there are no more blueberries. And I'm like, look, no, he'll be like, mo, mo, mo. And I'll be like, listen, bro, no more berries. This shit's expensive, homie. Like, stop it. So it's very exciting to think about where her voice is going to go, because there's a lot of stuff that she could still learn. Anyways, let's keep going. Let me push play. Here we go. So that was weird. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things here as well. One thing that's really, really cool, and you could hear it, there were more examples of her tilting the scream down and lifting the scream up, a lot with the mouth shape. Now, I'm not too sure if she's worked with anybody. I don't know. Or if she's figured all of this out on her own, but she's doing it very well. She's moving around her screams like somebody who has been through a little bit of training, right? But there's something else I want to talk about. So her scream falls within the realm of a pitched scream, right? Because obviously we have like our baseline false chord tone, like this sort of thing right here, right? Now, obviously I'm going to sound much deeper, right? But if I'm here, right, there's really very little or no audible pitch in there. My vocal cords aren't coming together and they're not phonating, right? Then we have a different type of false chord vocal. I mean, it's still a false chord vocal, but it's one that you hear, somewhat frequently, and it starts off with like a right, and it's essentially this roaring pitched tone. Very Courtney LaPlante. I'm trying to think of other vocalists who do it, but I'm drawing a blank. But my point with this, the reason I'm bringing it up is because while it is a safe scream to do, it is also very easy to hurt yourself with, right? Anytime we have our vocal folds engaging and we're engaging distortion, we're adding a small amount of risk to our screams. Now, her screams sound totally fine, and in fact, I don't know if she was actually screaming for the video or if she was lip syncing, probably actually screaming, but we can see, especially when she's looking at the camera, we can see like, wide open embouchure. There's even, because of lighting, we can actually even see her soft palate, like boom, like pulled up in the back. So she's creating a lot of space back in the pharynx, which is one thing that you want to do when you're creating like these kind of pitched false chords, right? You sort of want to yawn them out. And so one thing I'll do with my students who want to have like a very like Corey Taylor or like a very, Matt Honeycutt sound. I know that those are always my go-to examples, but I think they're really good at it, right? As many of you know, I've recently been digging into Slipknot a little bit more because I sort of missed that boat. But anyways, one thing I'll talk with my students about is how we want to kind of yawn the distortion out. Now, it's a different yawn than the way that we yawn normally, because the way that we yawn normally, when you say like ask a person to make a yawning noise, well, first of all, if you're just randomly asking people in your life to yawn, they're probably like, what the hell? Like, get away from me. I'm trying to leave me alone, because it's a weird question, right? But in the context of a vocal lesson, it makes total sense. So rather than like this that most people would do, we don't drop our larynx. So we take this that's the sound we want. We can also think of it, if like yawning doesn't really work, we can think of it as like smelling a flower, right? Beautiful flowers. And you can hear how wide open my soft palate is. And if you open your mouth like this and you kind of pay attention to the roof of your mouth and your nose, you'll feel it's going to be pretty subtle, but you'll feel buzzing right through that space. Right? One metal scream. Right? I'm just being goofy now. But if we move through that space and we think about the vocal being up and forward, which we can hear her aiming it that way, the distortion feels very separate from our vocal cords, and you can do things very, very comfortably that way. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but my point is this. She's doing a great job. Let's keep going. I'm going to pause it there because we're getting to a big moment. I have one criticism, not of Harper. Don't worry. No, nobody. You put your pitchforks away. Put your pitchforks down. It's a criticism of the mix. I feel like when Dave Stevens, who like his voice is awesome. If you've never listened to We Came as Romans, you should check them out. They're like not super duper my thing, but anytime like a song comes on random in Spotify, I'm like, dang, this is a bop, right? His voice is great. I'm talking more about Harper here, but his voice is phenomenal. Like his placement, like forget about it, dude. Like his gritty belted singing voice, like you can't place it better than that, honestly. It sounds phenomenal. But the criticism I have is that when he and Harper are singing and screaming at the same time, Harper's kind of lost. And like her, like, you know, false chord roar, and it may just be the fact that she's obviously occupying, you know, a higher frequency space as well, so it's difficult to make the two. I don't mix really, so this is just me talking more as an enjoyer of music. It might be hard to balance them out, but I wish we could hear her and him a little bit more together. I think that would have been a good balance because I can tell their voices supplement each other. I forgot what else I was going to say. Oh, yes, I do remember what I was going to say. I think that this reminds me a lot of, if you dig this sound, it reminds me a lot of a project that my business partner Quigs did years and years ago. It was a project called Sockweb. Some of you may know it, but it was very, very similar. I don't remember how old she was, but it was a project with a friend of his and his daughter. And it had kind of similar vibes. Unfortunately, her dad passed away. Details on that I'm not going to go into here. But it was really cool. It was a really cool project, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. So I'll link it in the description below if you I don't know, if this is kind of your vibe and you want to check it out. I'm sure the videos are still up. I'll ask him, but we'll link it in the video below. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to say that I wish it was a little bit more balanced in the mix, and it reminds me a lot of Sockweb. Let's keep going. Yeah, great job. Great job. Great job with pulling that low forward in the mouth, right? There was a lot of this ooh, ooh versus ooh, 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 ooh. So goodness, if she's rocking these fundamentals so well at 11, who at 21 and 10 years from now, 15 years from now, she's going to be better than me. That's for sure. Yeah, there was, there was good control. There was good control as she exited that last scream. Like, she let go of the distortion very, very progressively while holding on to her clean voice and then gently breathing it out. That takes some coordination. So, oh, there's another one, Harper falling. I don't know. Anyways, very cool song, and I think it's really cool that she has this opportunity. And that's the thing, like, good music is good music, and so I hopefully you know what I'm really thinking. You know what I'm really thinking while watching this video? I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about Evan and being like, dang, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for what he's good at and really facilitate it, right? Maybe it's not gonna be music, but I'd love for him to have a similar opportunity. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he's into baseball or drawing or dance, right? Maybe he's the next, like, I don't know anything about dance, but maybe he's the next Mikhail Brizhnikov. I don't know. Point is, pay attention to what your kids are good at, nurture it, because maybe they'd be really amazing. Probably, right? Anyway, I'm rambling at this point because I'm a dad and I'm like, good job. But anyways, that was Harper, Way to the World, featuring Dave Stevens. Pretty cool track. Very excited to see where her career takes her and where her voice takes her. And honestly, this is a really good example of good fundamentals. So if you're like me, if you're a grown adult, but you're brand new to vocals, you could learn a lot from an 11-year-old. So that being said, if you enjoy the content, you could also learn a lot about false chord fundamentals from my false chord fundamental course, cardivoxacademy.com. Almost forgot to plug it. It's my own channel. Jeez. But if you like this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to watch the channel grow. I very much appreciate all of you hanging out and watching the video. And that's about all I have to say. That's 4 videos. I filmed 4 videos today, and my back is throbbing. This smile, it's a pain smile. I gotta go ice myself. Goodness gracious. I know I said that after the last video. I said that about after like 3 videos today, but good golly, it's time. Many thanks. Much love. I'm out.